Welcome back to the Midway Peer Support Podcast. I'm your host, Rhonda, and today we're going to be exploring the healing power of meditation in the nervous system and the intersection of ancient practice and modern science, and how meditation interacts with our nervous system across a lifespan, and why it's such a powerful tool for healing trauma. But before we dive in, I want to share a brief disclaimer. So air quotes, disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. This podcast is for educational purposes only. I'm not a licensed clinical worker. I do not diagnose conditions. I do not create treatment plans. I do not provide therapy. That is beyond my scope. My role here is rooted in peer support. And I have been professionally trained, and I also work in behavioral health system. But the peer support is a powerful framework because it's based on my personal lived experience. Peer support is about walking alongside others on their recovery journey, sharing insight, resources, and emotional encouragement from a place of authenticity. It's built on a mutual respect and understanding that healing is personal. Like, I get it. What I did may not work for others, but what others do may not work for me. However, you may have something that I'm willing to try that could work for me in my journey. And hopefully, over 39 years of personal lived experience in 12-step recovery programs, I might have something that can help somebody out there that could just, help you on your journey. So I'm all about service. I love recovery. I love what it's brought into my life. And I just started this podcast. This is actually my first podcast. I'm really excited to do it because I really want to help people in a real way. And so hopefully the information I bring today will be helpful and useful for you in your journey, and it will help you climb up the next rung in your recovery. So on this platform, I support individuals living with mental health challenges and substance use disorder. What I'm doing is blending education, storytelling, recovery tools from my own journey, and the research I've done for myself in my journey. And so about a year and a half ago, I started meditating, and it was a game changer for me, and I started experiencing some physical healing, and a lot of the noise inside of me was leaving. And so I got curious, I leaned in, and I'm like, what is happening here? Is this scientific? And hey, what do you know? It is scientifically proven that meditation does help us. So, the other part of this disclaimer is if you are in crises right now, please call 988 for immediate mental health support, or reach out to your clinical provider, or go to your local rapid access unit for care. Because let's be honest, safety is sexy, and you deserve to feel safe, supported, and seen. So we're going to dive in now. The roots of meditation. So meditation dates back thousands of years. Its earliest form emerged from spiritual traditions like Hinduism and Buddhism, where it was used as a path to enlightenment and inner peace. So over time, though, meditation spread globally, and it began to appear in secular context, from mindfulness practices in the West to therapeutic techniques endorsed by psychology and neuroscience. So now it's more than a spiritual tool. It's a science-based method for calming the mind and regulating the body. And it's supporting the body in doing what it naturally does. So what does meditation do to the brain? Research shows that meditation strengthens our prefrontal cortex. That's our brain's center for decision making and emotional regulation. It often actively softens the amygdala. And the amygdala is our survival brain, or I've heard it called the reptile brain. And what I understand from my research is that the amygdala is the oldest part of our brain. It's the first part that develops in the womb, and it is our survival brain. So, the other beautiful thing about the amygdala is it increases connectivity between other brain regions. So that also boosts vagal tone, which plays a role in calming the heart and restoring physical balance after stress. Meditation improves neuroplasticity. This is our brain's ability to change and adapt. And over time, it enhances focus, lowers anxiety, and it builds emotional resilience. So understanding the nervous system. Our nervous system has two major branches. The sympathetic nervous system, which activates that amygdala brain, that survival brain, and it lets us know, hey, this is a dangerous situation, danger, Will Robinson, or it activates when we're stressed or overwhelmed, and it's a cool fact that our brain doesn't know that what we're experiencing right now, it may be a minor situation, but our brain doesn't know the difference between life-threatening and not life-threatening. And it doesn't know if this situation is happening now or if it happened later. So when trauma's stuck in us and we experience a situation today, our brain is going to react the same way today that it reacted when the original threat occurred. Cool facts. So then the other major part of the parasympathetic nervous system, this restores calm and supports digestion, sleep, and healing. It's like the body's rest and repair system. These systems are designed to work in balance with one another. So when I face a threat, the sympathetic nervous system takes charge. And it releases cortisol, it releases other hormones, my digestive system turns off, my pupils dilate, so I have sharper vision, and my body's prepared to fight or flight. And also, the reason the digestive system shuts down is to conserve energy. Because if I have to run, I'm not going to want my energy going to digesting my food at that moment. I need it to run. So once safety returns, the parasympathetic system starts and it steps in to help my body recover. So all of those things that just went up will start to come back down to a baseline of calm. The other thing that I wanted to incorporate in this podcast is development in different stages of our life. So there's development in nurturing versus unstable homes. In a nurturing home, children experience co-regulation. Co-regulation is a process where caregivers tune into the child's emotions and help them soothe from the distress. And through this gentle interaction, making eye contact, tone of voice, and touch, the child learns to regulate emotions through connection. So if I'm giving you eye contact, if I'm using a gentle tone, if I'm gently touching you, that's letting you know that you're not alone and it's okay. So when we're children and we grow up in an environment where our parents co-regulate with us, our nervous system becomes wired for safety and resilience. They often develop coping strategies like deep breathing, emotional expression, and reaching out for help. For them to reach out for help, it's not a big deal. I know for me growing up, I wasn't allowed to reach out for help. So, these become lifelong tools for managing stress and building relationships. In an unstable or traumatic home, Children face relational trauma, stress caused by inconsistent, neglectful, or emotionally harmful relationships, which caregivers and family members are often the people that they're most exposed to. This includes emotional invalidation, shaming, and chaotic environments. These experiences create what's called little t trauma, and it accumulates over time. This shapes the child's nervous system to expect danger. So if you've ever been rolling through your life, feeling good, everything's going well, ooh yeah, you're on top of the world, and then all of a sudden you get this impending doom feeling, that most likely is a trauma response, and it's something in there I have found from my own experience. When that's occurring, there's a trauma that I have not been able to face because it hasn't come up in a way that I have full clarity on it. So without co-regulation, as children, we learn to survive in emotional disconnection or dissociation. Our sympathetic nervous system stays activated, and this leads to hypervigilance, shutdown, reactivity, or numbness. And we may struggle with trust and self-soothing throughout life. So I know for me as a kiddo, when my parents were present, I was always looking at their face expressions, listening to their tone of voice, watching their body language and their words. I would listen to their words, and this would tell me how I was allowed to feel. It predicted for me the way that I was going to behave in the situation, because I just never knew. I know even if they were nice, I was still on guard because you never knew when they were going to blow their stack. So I have struggled in my journey with trust and being able to comfort myself. I've been very codependent, or believed I have to be in a relationship, I have to be with somebody to be okay, and that has been most of my adult life. So we're going to look at social development and trauma bonding next. Children who grow up in this kind of stress often struggle with peer relations. Their nervous systems make it difficult for them to feel safe enough to connect. They may feel socially isolated or form relationships with others who are also dysregulated. So they say we marry people like our parents. That is not far from the truth, and it only makes sense because if I'm in a survival mode and my nervous system is activated, it's only natural that I would be drawn to people that are in survival mode as well and have had similar experiences as mine. So this is called trauma bonding. So relationships based on shared pain and survival rather than mutual support and healing. These patterns often mirror the chaotic bonds that from our caregivers. And I have seen in my own journey in overcoming things that affected me as a person growing up. I do see patterns in my behavior that are very similar to my caretakers, and also the partners that I have picked, their behaviors are very similar to my caretakers. So, in contrast, children from nurturing environments form friendships through curiosity, joy, and emotional safety. They learn empathy, reciprocity, and boundaries. Ooh, what's a boundary, right? I know oftentimes in my past, I have given and 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 given so much of myself, and nothing's being given back. I have done all the things to try to get a person to love me and accept me, not realizing I didn't need their permission to exist, right? Like, I have a right to be here. I have a right to take up space. And that love is not earned. I'm just loved because I exist. That has been very difficult to wrap my head around. And then boundaries as simple as, hey, I don't like that. Could you stop doing it and don't do it again? That can be turned into a massive argument, and then I'm shut down because I didn't feel heard, I wasn't seen, and I don't matter. So boundaries, I believe, are another part of our inner compass. If I don't like something, that's a boundary. And oftentimes as a child, if I didn't like something, I was told that I was being ridiculous or that it didn't matter, I'd have to get over it. Messages like that just reinforced that little t trauma, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. So actually, I'm moving into that right now. The big T trauma versus little t trauma. Most people, when they hear the word trauma, they're thinking about big T trauma, which is going to be a car accident, a natural disaster, physical abuse, neglect, a death or loss of a loved one, violence, major events that just overwhelm the nervous system. Little t trauma is relational and chronic. So on a daily basis, when I was growing up, I was told to leave them alone when I needed something. I chronically was told to go away. I was chronically told that I wasn't wanted. I was chronically told that I was silly or being ridiculous, or a crybaby, or I was ignored. I was straight up ignored. I was excluded from things. Those are all little t traumas. And I experienced messages like that daily my entire childhood. So that is little t trauma, and it's emotional invalidation, it's bullying, it's constant stress, or feeling unseen and unsafe every day. So both types of these can affect our development, our behavior, and our emotional regulation. And I can say personally that it created developmental delay in me. And having both of these, I believe, is called complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And I think it's one thing to have one of them and to be able to regulate your nervous system. It's another thing to have both of them and it's chronic. And then no support in the environment. So it was only natural that I did things to try to comfort myself, self-soothe. I used food, substance, alcohol, all the things, that you could think of to self-soothe. But I've learned that as an adult, those things don't work for me. So, survival mode and dysregulation. A healthy stress response activates the sympathetic system. That's the heart rate rises, the muscles tense, the breath shortens. When the threat passes, the parasympathetic system brings us back to that state of calm, that baseline of calm. But when trauma is ongoing, we stay stuck in survival mode. So the body never has time to recover from the last event. So if you think about that little t trauma, and it was happening chronic every day, my nervous system never had the opportunity to work properly, to help me to regulate and come back down to a normal state of calm. A normal state of calm was unacceptable in my household growing up. If I was happy or content, they would create a problem, or I was the problem because I was happy and content. So my system learned to just stay on guard. It was not safe in any sense of the word. And so my parasympathetic nervous system never got a chance to help me to calm down. And it leads to chronic dysregulation, anxiety, insomnia, difficulty concentrating, digestive issues, and emotional instability. So I was chronically emotionally unstable, chronically dysregulated. I had a lot of fear. I do still struggle with insomnia. And I had anger. I was so angry all the time. Gotta think of that anger. So we're going to talk about coping in each environment. In a nurturing home, people may develop journaling and emotional expression, reaching out for help. They know it's safe to ask for help. They know it's safe to journal and express themselves emotionally. Curiosity-driven learning, creative outlets, emotional awareness and regulation, and autonomy. They were allowed to be who they are. In a trauma-heavy environment, people may develop avoidance or dissociation. Very good at that. Hyper-independence or people-pleasing. I can do this, I got it, I can do it all on my own. Or, oh, here, let me get this for you. And they're very capable of getting it for themselves. Substance use or disordered eating. I have both of those. Aggression. I used to be aggressive. Emotional withdrawal. I'm very good at that even today. Impulsive or compulsive behaviors. I'm still working on those things. So these aren't choices. They are adaptations. I stopped a long time ago allowing the voice of shame in my head or the moral compass to judge me. I stopped a long time ago of allowing that to take place inside of myself because none of it was the truth. These were not choices. They were adaptations. They're how I survived. They're how I'm still alive today. They are how my nervous system tried to feel safe. And as an adult in recovery, I'm learning there are other ways to provide safety for myself and security. And so that is evidence, that change can happen, that we can regulate and make a difference in our own life. So behavioral signs. Someone raised in an emotional safe environment may show flexibility, empathy, and resilience. Healthy boundaries and communication. Hey, stop. I don't like that. Don't do it again. Emotional curiosity and openness. Someone raised in trauma, though, they may show reactivity, distrust, social isolation, control seeking, or emotional shutdown. High sensitivity or numbing behaviors. So overeating, eating compulsively, using substances, gambling, relationship hopping, working too much, being defensive, that's reactive, not trusting, and then, isolating yourself, just not really wanting to be around people. I isolate somewhat today for more healthy reasons. So these signs help us understand what the nervous system has experienced. It is not to judge ourselves, not to, tell myself what a bad person I am. Look, I did it again. I'm horrible. I'll never get this right. No, that's not what these signs are for. They're to help us understand what the nervous system has experienced and is going through. And it helps us to recognize what we might need in order to heal. So healing through meditation. Here's the hope. Meditation helps retain the nervous system. Retrain the nervous system. While gentle breath awareness and consistent practice, we invite the parasympathetic system to engage. So basically, with gentle breathing and breath awareness, meaning I'm putting my focus on my breath in the moment on purpose, right? I'm doing it intentionally. This invites my parasympathetic nervous system to engage. I'm giving it what it needs to do its job. And I'm able to communicate with it and let it know that we are safe now. Meditation helps us to slow the breathing. It calms the heart, it softens our muscle tension, and we can reconnect with our body. It teaches us how to respond instead of react. It helps restore a sense of safety. So I'm giving myself safety. I'm taking responsibility for me today, and I'm giving myself safety. This invites compassion. I'm learning how to have compassion and empathy towards myself. And then I can have it for others instead of it being that kind of, I feel bad for them, I'm going to help them, put myself out there, and I'm draining myself. There's a big difference. Meditation doesn't erase our trauma, but it does offer a space to heal from it. It teaches presence, regulation, and trust in the moment that shoe is not going to drop. So meditation as a practice of recovery. So I began uploading a series of 5-minute meditation videos. These are created especially for newcomers. They're short practices that offer a gentle way to explore mindfulness, emotional regulation, and inner stillness without pressure or overwhelm. There will be several themed series available, focusing on everything from grounding and anxiety relief to self-compassion and forgiveness. Meditation is just one of the tools in my toolbox. I hold multiple life coach certifications, and my work is about guiding others towards healing, emotional safety, and personal growth. Today, I'd like to close this episode by inviting you to join me for a 5-minute release of anxiety meditation. This is inspired by the grounded, recovery-oriented style of Noah Levine. He is one of my all-time favorite people. He's just an amazing person, and I'm going to give a shout out to him and the recovery program that he started is called Refuge Recovery, and you can find them online. They have several recorded meditations there, and they also have Zoom meetings that you can attend if you'd like to dive a little deeper into meditation. So typically we start meditation with ringing of the bell. I'll start the meditation with 1 ring and then end it with 2 rings. This is a 5-minute release of anxiety meditation. Begin by finding a comfortable seat. Let your spine be upright, but not rigid. Allow your hands to rest gently on your lap or wherever they naturally fall. Take a moment to just settle in. Adjust anything that needs adjusted so that you're comfortable. Now take a deep breath. In through your nose and slowly exhale through your mouth. Let's do that again. We'll breathe in through the nose and slowly exhale through the mouth. And one more time. Now, gently close your eyes or soften your gaze. Bring your attention to your breath. Not trying to change it. Just notice it. As thoughts arise, as they will, just let them pass like the clouds in the sky. You don't need to chase them. You don't need to push them away. Just bring your focus back to your breath. Now silently or openly repeat this phrase with each breath. Breathing in, I am safe in this moment. Breathing out, I release what I cannot control. Breathing in, I return to the breath. Breathing out, I am safe in this moment. Breathing in, I release what I cannot control. Breathing in, I return to my breath. I messed that up.